Hey everyone, and welcome back to the series on Python. In the last session, we saw the introduction to variables and functions. In this session, we will learn more concepts about variables. More concepts on functions will come later on. For now, and for this session, we are going to specifically be focusing on variables topic. So let's begin. This is just the revision of the last session on variables. We have already learned that a variable is basically a storage container having a name and a value, which is used by us for storing something for later use in the program when we need to. Now in this session we are going to be looking at the rules for making variables. These are the rules that we use while naming any variable in the program. So let's start. A variable name must start with a letter or the underscore character. Now let's just open up IDLE so that I can show you the things in action. Just a sec. So there we go, ideally has been launched. Now the rule says a variable name must start with a letter or the underscore character. So let's try to start with a letter. Let's say ABC as a variable name is equal to anything like 5. So this is accepted. We are starting this variable name with A, which is nothing but a letter, which is fine. We can also use capital letters if we want to. Now other than letters, we can use underscores for starting a character of a variable name, like let's say underscore def. This is also a valid variable name. Let's say equal to 6. Both will work. You can also check uh, by printing that by displaying those values of the variables to confirm if you want to, like this. Those two is are working fine. Now the next rule says a variable name cannot start with a number. Okay, so we have seen that the variable names can start with a letter and underscores. Now what it can't be started with are numbers. Sorry for my bad English, by the way. Basically variable names cannot start with numbers. Like we can make a variable name like abc1 is equal to 78. This is perfectly fine because we are starting the variable with a, which is a letter. We can also say underscore abc34 is equal to 56. This is also correct because we are starting the variable name with underscore. The numbers are just after the starting part and not at the starting. So this is fine. We can use numbers in variable names. We just don't have to put the number or digit at the start. So if we try something like this, 5abc is equal to 45. Let's say we want to make a variable called 5abc is equal to 45. Now this will not work. This will not work and give an error because this is against the rule. A variable name cannot start with a number. We can't start a variable name with a number. We can only start a variable name with a letter and an underscore. So now let's move on. A variable name can only contain alphanumeric characters and underscores, that is A to Z, capitals or smalls both, 0 to 9 and underscore. Now if I make a variable, let's say abcd underscore 23, this is perfectly fine, right? Let's just assign any value, let's say 9, and this is perfectly fine because this variable name is starting with a letter and this is not starting with a number. And the third rule, let's see, a variable name can only contain alphanumeric characters and underscores. It is A to Z, 0 to 9 and underscore. So let's see, we have A to Z, yes, underscore, yes, and 0 to 9, yes. So this is also a very valid variable name. Now you may be thinking, are there any other characters other than characters alphanumeric characters and underscores and numbers? Yes, we can use special characters, but they are not allowed in variable names. So let's try a special character like percent sign. Let's say ABCD percent ER. Let's just say this as a variable name and assign this with 10. So, so here you can see we got an error. It's because we have put a percent sign which is not an alphanumeric character. Okay, the percent sign is not an numeric character. Alphanumeric means neither an alphabet nor a number. Alphanumeric means uh, either that character has to be an alphabet or a number, and percent sign is neither of them, so it's not alphanumeric. And underscores, so percent sign is obviously not an underscore, it's a separate thing. So actually special characters are allowed in variables names, but only one of the special characters are allowed, which is underscore. We can definitely use underscore like ABCD underscore ER is equal to 10. This is fine, but the moment we try to put another special symbol or special character like hash, or let's say dollar sign ER is equal to 10, this will also not work because these are not allowed in variable names. Now variable names are case sensitive. Now what do I mean by case sensitive? Case sensitive basically means capitals and smalls are different. Okay, so let's say A, B, C. Let's say we wrote this thing in Python, and we nextly we wrote this thing A, B, C. For us these two things might be the same, as both contain only A, B and C. But if you look carefully, these characters are in capital letters, but these are in small letters. So Python will treat both of them as a different thing, because for Python, uh, things are case sensitive. Basically, case sensitive means for different cases, uh, both the things will be different. Okay, so these two things are different for Python because cases do not match in these two things. Hopefully I'm clear. So name and name with a capital N and name with all capital letters are three different variable names due to their different cases. So let's just show this to you. Let's say I made a variable name ABCD is equal to 10, and let's say I tried to print ABCD. So we got 10 as expected. But what if I tried to print ABCD written in all capitals? So if Python is case sensitive, it should not be printing that. Let's see. Yes, we got an error. It's because Python treated this ABCD different from this ABCD due to its mismatching cases. So hopefully I'm clear about what case sensitive means. The reserved words or keywords cannot be used in naming the variable. Now what are keywords? Let's look a little bit into keywords here. Keywords are basically the things that are already defined in Python. Not defined actually. Keywords are the things whose meaning is actually already clear to the Python compiler or Python's language processor. For example, there's a keyword called DEF. You can see the color automatically changed as I wrote DEF. So we cannot say DEF is equal to 3. This will give an error because DEF is a reserved word or a keyword already built into Python for a special purpose. Its purpose is specially built for some functions, okay, and it's not for normal use for us like making variables, etc. There are various different keywords available in Python, like is also a keyword, and false is a keyword, true is a keyword. Basically anything that changes to this cream or yellowish color in Python is a keyword, like do, sorry, not do, like while, if, else, elif. All these things are keywords, and there are so many more of them. We cannot use these words as variable names. For more information on keywords, you can check the description. I have given the link of a web page where you can find all the keywords listed, so that you can avoid using those as variable names. So this is it for this session on Python. I hope I was able to give you ideas about how to name your variables. And one last thing I want to say, let me just show you in IDLE itself. So whenever you are making a variable name and it consists of two words, let's say first name, you want to keep a variable name called first name in which you want to store a person's first name. Okay, so you can obviously do that, like let's say Vaibhav, and this is fine, this will work. But don't you think that this name is seeming kind of messy? We can distinguish between first and name as both of them are written together. So there are two ways to get around this. You can do this, like you can change the case of the second word in the variable and change that to uppercase, like I did this small n to capital N over here, because the second word start with this n, so I changed this n to be capitals. And this kind of casing is called as camel casing, but this is not the recommended way in Python's documentation, as it's not much readable. If you remember the first session, I said I explained to you that Python focuses very much on readability of the code, and this is also not much readable. There's a better way to achieve this, uh, which basically makes the code more readable, and this is using underscore and then writing the same thing. Basically just add an underscore between those two words, and there you go, this seems perfectly fine now. Now you might be thinking, why don't we just use space for separating? So hold on, let me just show you the rules again. A variable name can only contain alphanumeric characters and underscores, and neither alphanumeric characters or underscores have spaces in them. So spaces are basically not allowed in variables. So in place of spaces, we can just use underscores to separate them. This will work. Let me just show you after printing this. This works perfectly fine. Now we can also do this if we want to, but this is not the recommended way. Let's just say unshoe, and let's say print first name, and there you go, we got unshoe, and we got this we got both the two ways working. But trust me, please use this way at least while working in Python, if you are learning at least this language as a first language. If you are coming from another language's background like C++ or Java, you might use this one if you want to. So I hope you got something out of this session, and I really hope this was helpful for you. I have given some links in the description for learning resources about variables and keywords. I hope this was helpful to you, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.